in that last fight?
A lot of personal stuff, overwhelming personal stuff, family stuff, my personal life, my private life, my financial life, like everything. I was kind of just like in a in a really, really bad way for
Hmm.
that training camp.
With like the transition, you coming from boxing and then doing MMA, I want to say, like, how difficult is it to transition as a boxer into MMA?
It's so hard. It's so hard. People who say it's not hard, I just want to be like, fuck you, you liar. You know what I mean? It's so hard because in and I see MMA fighters who go into a boxing ring and they take the MMA mentality, and I'm like, you know, like you ain't playing that in my house. And like I will go into an MMA fight and then go back into a boxing ring with the MMA attitude. And it took me until my last fight, coming off my last fight, came out of the cage and then had to train for Amanda Serrano. And that's when I realized, like, wait a minute, I'm boxing, like I'm fighting in the cage. When I'm in the cage, I'm fighting to survive. I just want to get through the round. And then sometimes I take that mentality back into boxing. I think I was sparring Alicia Napoleon, and I was fighting like I was trying to survive. And my coach at the time was like, why aren't you hitting her? And I was like, oh shit, she's not going to kick me. You know? And like, so you click all that stuff right back.
Do the punches hurt more in boxing or do they hurt more in MMA?
Depends who punches you.
Yeah, they still all hurt, huh?
Not, and some of them don't hurt at all. Let me think. Amanda Serrano is a hard ass puncher. But she's a hard puncher no matter what. Boxing gloves, 16-ounce gloves, 8-ounce gloves, don't matter. Because she knows how to place her punch, right? This has nothing to do with strength. She has natural power. Then, like, you had the first girl I fought at the Garden. She punched so hard.
Yeah.
She was the hardest hitter I faced in MMA, for sure.
Well, that was a great fight. You guys went at it.
We did. She punched hard. It was like, oh, you know, she's this, she's that. I came out of that cage and I was like, that girl can punch. Real.
Did your body feel more sore after an MMA fight or more sore after like a boxing fight? Like,
It depends.
yeah.
It depends. Like I've had boxing matches where I go in the gym and teach the next day. I sparred the next day. MMA fights, same thing, where I get back in the gym and a couple days later, I'm helping one of the other girls spar for their fights, giving them rounds. But I've had both kind of fights. Like my MMA fight, my pro debut, I remember I was in Cancun with the family like the next week, black and blues, bloodshot eyes. Both my hands were broken. I had black and blue hands. And then some MMA fights, like when I fought Anna, that's fine. Pretty face still.
Given that, what was like the hardest thing to, I guess, learn in like the MMA aspect? Was it like the ground game? Or was it the submissions? Like, what was it for you?
It was remembering to be nervous, right? Like I go into a boxing match and I'm so confident in the stuff I know how to do and the stuff I don't know how to do. And then how to get around the stuff I don't know how to do. You know what I mean? With MMA, there's still that like, what if she does this and I don't know how to answer it, right? That's how it feels. Like I don't have the same confidence.
No, because I know MMA fighters have made like the transition into MMA, most notably Conor McGregor with the one fight that he had. But there's some boxers that are open to it, and they feel like, well, hey, I know how to fight, and I could outbox all these guys. I'm a better boxer than all of them, but there's a lot more to MMA than just that.
Yeah, like even the best MMA girls, like I'm sparring partners with some of the girls that fight in the UFC, like high-ranked girls that in the cage would make me look like a second grader trying to give a college essay speech, okay? Like they wax my ass. In a boxing ring, I make them look like they never fought before because I know more about boxing than most people forgot. I lived it my whole life for 10 years. And there are people who know more than me. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to boxing. So if you don't live it, do it, breathe it, you're never going to come at me with some type of boxing. You might be better than me, but I'm going to know why.
You know, it's tough to be a two-sport athlete in anything, and especially like in combat sports. You would think that, you know, you could do it as a boxer and an MMA fighter, but it's tough because the MMA training really is brutal. Like
Yeah, it hurts, and I'm old. I'm old, man.
you're young, you're still young.
I'm old. I'm old. I'm 38, man, and they be get like twisting, and you know, my body ain't used to doing all that stuff. I would leave, come home, sometimes just cry on the train, like, oh, I hate wrestling so much.
Why am I doing this? Why am I
I
doing?
know, why am I doing this? They're not even paying that much.
No, I would have thought you would have thought that with your second fight when you had your nose all like busted open. I think that's like MMA wise. A lot of people still remember that fight that you had.
Yeah, that's probably my most notable fight. That sucked, man. It
Yeah.
sucked so bad. It still sucks. I wonder if she knows that I still think about her every time I get a stuffy nose. I'm like, I got cold as
So,
a bitch.
she broke your nose in that fight, right?
She broke it. It's like, you ever see those cartoons with Daffy Duck when Bugs Bunny shoots him in the face and the beak goes to the side?
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. My nose just flew off my whole face. I remember walking out of the cage and I coughed and the bones went out my mouth.
Legit.
As they went in and out my mouth. I remember
Oh, wow.
it was a mess. It was a mess. Like my mother would say, it was like an abortion. It was a mess.
Oh, man.
And then because right before she kicked my face, she hit me with an elbow. And I remember I went to the corner between rounds and I was like, how the fuck is she punching me so hard? And my coach said, she's not punching you, she's hitting you with elbows. And I was like, those guys hurt. Because she ripped open my face. And when they had to go in and fix my nose that broke, because my nose was shattered and displaced, they went through the hole in my face that she split open with her elbow.
How are you able to breathe when that happens? Like during a
Through
fight?
my mouth. I had a mouth. It sucked, but I could breathe through my mouth.
But like, isn't blood like going into your throat, like through your
Not
nose?
so much because it come out of your nose.
Yeah.
Like when I breathed in the bones, so some of it was like that. But if you focus just on breathe through your mouth, I had to do that for like 3 weeks. It was the worst sleep I ever got in my life. I got addicted to Afrin. Coming off that was like going through alcohol rehab, for
Oh,
Christ's sake.
no.
It
Was
was a mess.
that after?
What's that?
Was that painful after?
It wasn't painful, but you can't breathe through it. It's like having a stuffy nose.
Yeah.
Is that not the most annoying thing to try to sleep through? Imagine that for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted peace and quiet and sleep and breathe through both my nose.
Yeah. What did they have to do to fix everything? Just surgery to correct the.
I had surgery and the lady was like, after she's like, I'm really not happy with it. Why don't you come back and we'll fix it? And she was like, but you have to promise me you're not going to get hit again. And I was like,
Yeah.
well. So we kind of made a deal that after my fighting career, I'd think about getting it fixed. I mean, I don't mind being ugly that bad. So.
You still have problems with it then? You still have problems breathing?
No, it's like if my sinuses act up, then it'll get stuffy because this is all crooked. It's all crooked. Like I have a deviated septum. So it never evened out. And it's like all swollen and stuff. I used to have such a skinny nose. She ruined my face. I'd like to sneak up on her and ruin her face. I'm just kidding, Christina. I'm just kidding.
I know you are. But
I'm just playing. But I just wonder sometimes if she thinks about that. Like, hey, remember that time I made Heather Hardy ugly? Because I do.
I never knew that fighters thought about injuries like that from fights from certain fighters.
Well, when they are recurring, you know, when they're recurring, sometimes I will get dressed up and look at my face and I'm like, this bitch, man, this bitch. Or like I said, if my sinuses act up, I'm just like, nose, you know, like things like that. And then this, I got stitched here. And my very first fight at the Barclays Center, I split it open. In 2014 was the first time a girl ever boxed there, and I got a headbutt, and I had 9 stitches here. And then my first MMA fight, the girl headbutt me, and there was a piece in the fight where she went, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and I said, "It's okay," but I can't feel my face anymore because she damaged all my nerves. So I go to pluck my eyebrows, and I can't feel this whole part of my face.
Oh,
Yeah. So like every time I pluck my eyebrows or I scratch my head, it's like pins, like you touch like this, and this all goes pins and needles.
jeez. Wow.
So I always think of the girl I fought in my pro debut for MMA.
It's a tough life. It's a tough life.
But I got a lot of stories for my grandkids.